inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make our community tick. We have a human being in the studio with me this time. I know we just had a half-hour segment with Vega, the chat box, who went to the mat with me, wouldn't admit her evil plans for replacing all humans like me in journalism, but I think revealed herself in the way she was sucking up to me in ways that weren't based on reality. But that's for you to judge. I want to go back to the human sphere today. I'm so happy we're getting back now onto your motto here. She's the education director of the Peabody Museum, which, as you know, is going gangbusters since it reopened last year. Anyone you know in New Haven, especially if they have kids, when you ask what they've been up to, 9 out of 10 times, I'm not exaggerating, like, what did you guys just do last weekend? What did you do on school day off? They went to the Peabody. Everyone's back at the Peabody. And this is an important time of the year when they do the Martin Luther King Day, which for 3 decades has become a event they really throw down on. And so, Andrea, welcome back. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Paul. Good to see you again.
And so tell me, Monday, January 19th is Martin Luther King Day at the Peabody Museum. So what's going to be going on?
This is a really special day for all of us at the Peabody Museum. As you mentioned, we've been at this for 30 years, and we want this to be a day that feels really current, that feels in the moment, that brings people together from all across New Haven. And so we have a real deep focus this year on service and celebration, and really leaning into Dr. King's message of service and bringing in organizations from all across the city who do service for others, who are looking for volunteers and folks to contribute to that service. It's just going to be a really amazing space where we all come together in solidarity to talk about the really amazing grassroots work that's happening across the city.
And how does that fit in with what the Peabody Museum does as a history of natural science?
The Peabody Museum is a natural history museum, but it's also a space that brings people together. We redesigned the museum to have a big central gallery, a gathering place, so that people from around the city can use that for different purposes. So it's a great space, the big atrium, to bring all these groups together. It aligns really well with our mission of connecting people and ideas and materials together.
And it gets more people in.
It does get more people in.
So you're saying this is your
yeah.
space. This isn't some fancy Yale place you can't walk in.
Yeah, this is everybody's space. This
might sound a little ridiculous, but is natural history about dinosaurs and 12-year-olds in New Haven in 2026 who do a poem?
It's a little bit about dinosaurs. It's also about the natural world. It's about people. It's about culture. And all of those things are part of what the museum is. What makes a day like this special is that the dinosaurs are still there, but the real focus is the work of these organizations.
Okay. So from noon to 4, and admission is free. There's a social justice and service resource fair in the Central Gallery. What does that mean?
That means we thought a lot about Dr. King's mission of service. He said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And the organizations around the city that live that every day are coming into this space. So we've got a long list of partners that I'm so excited to have together. We can run through a few of those.
Let's do that in a minute, but just so we know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, for instance, 12:30 to 4:30, there's drop-in zine making.
Yeah. There's an artist locally. His name's Silencio, and he makes zines. They're little booklets that are often social justice related. You can tell a story about things that matter to you. So he's using inspiration from all of the organizations around the room, and kids can come in and make their own booklets.
With AI or without?
No, it's old school pieces of paper.
That's the problem with zine. It's always known as samizdat.
We've got some like stampers, hand stamping, drawing, so that everyone can make a really old school booklet that they can distribute, take home with them, and kind of tell the story of what they learned.
And then for 3 hours at a time, you're going to have conversation circles. What are those?
This is a new thing we're trying this year. The organizations coming in want an opportunity to slow things down, to have dialogue. Dialogue with people you don't know is so important to understand different ways of being human.
So we don't want to just yell at each other blindly with the way we type in all caps on social media.
We don't want to do that. Okay. We want to have a cup of tea, sit in a small circle
What kind of tea?
All kinds. We got tea, we got hot cocoa, we got coffee.
Okay.
Your beverage of choice. We're going to sit in a circle and talk about some topics that feel relevant. So just a couple of these are about voter rights. about banned books, about Black librarianship, youth empowerment. These are topics.
Now, my guess is that you're not going to have that many different views on that. Like, you're not going to have people come in and say we want to ban books and not have Black librarians, right?
But there are a lot of nuances to those
Right.
conversations. So I think that's the cool thing about sitting
Like,
with
is the
people.
best way to get Black librarians to have a focus on just making sure that you hire someone Black, or is it like make sure that everyone gets to apply? And
Yeah, there are all kinds of conversations that a small group can dig into. So we're excited to see how those work. But having a space where people can slow down and sit together and talk is just a new piece that we're really looking forward to.
And who's going to lead those?
Organizations that are coming to the resource fair. So the voter registrar, City Seed, African American Historical Society, they're all going
That sounds great.
lead those.
And then for 4 hours, you're going to have hands-on activities. And I'm guessing that everyone with kids is going to at least spend some of the time there.
Yeah.
You got crafts, you got musical performances, right? What kind of music?
So there are some New Haven Public School performance groups that will be in the galleries. We have the dance group from Betsy Ross coming by, dancers from New Haven Academy. So just pop-up performances throughout the gallery that are all led by students. You know,
That sounds fun.
the youth are the future, so we want to highlight their work as much as possible.
So how many people usually come for this?
Last year, I think we had around 1,500 people.
Wow.
This year, I bet we're going to up that a little bit.
And how many people work on this? Because, there are a lot of people involved.
Oh, there's a lot of people. I have a whole team of educators. Every department of the museum contributes to this in some way, from marketing to security to the folks that make the signs. So for several months, we've been having meetings to make sure everyone has their piece of the puzzle, and that all the community organizations, they've been contributing to that process too, so we could do something that everyone is on board with.
All right. And then what I kind of think of that we often end up writing about more is the end of the day.
Yeah.
First, you have a community open mic,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have from 5 to 7 the poetry slam. And tell me about that and what's going to be same or different this year with that.
The poetry slam, we wanted to move back into the museum space. Last year it was in a really lovely lecture hall that was a little bit farther away, but this poetry slam is so important to us, and we want it to have a home in the museum. So that's going to be in the Central Gallery as well.
So what else is in that Central Gallery?
During the day, it's that resource area. In the evening, it's going to transform into a poetry
But I mean,
slam.
is there anything else in there permanently? Are there any permanent exhibits in the Central Gallery?
There are up on the ceiling, there's the turtle and the mosasaur, Archelon and mosasaur. They're always hanging up above. There is a botany exhibit. There are some plants that live in the space year round. And there are a bunch of cases with exhibits that change out every couple of months.
Okay, that sounds really great.
Yeah.
So we're talking to Angie Amato, for the Education Director of the Peabody Museum, for MLK Day at the Peabody Museum, which is really a place where a lot of people go to kind of, what are you going to do on MLK Day? They close school, and we're saying we want to remember Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy in some way that's meaningful. It's not a holiday to just like barbecue or watch the football game. It really is. The idea is that we want to do something on this day, and the Peabody Museum gives us a way to do something. And so let's talk about first of all, how's the new space figure into this now that you reopened?
The new space is crucial to this whole operation. That the whole area that we built up in that Central Gallery is where a lot of this work is going to live, and the space in the galleries are all being used in different ways. So it's a good time for us to experiment.
Okay, cool. So what you want to go back and forth? There's so many community groups who work with the Peabody on this event, right? So why don't we go back and forth and say who they are?
Okay.
Do you want to do it fast or slow?
Oh, medium.
Okay. Bethel AME Church.
African American Historical Society.
City Seed.
Black Caucus of the American Library Association.
Citywide Youth Coalition.
Common Ground High School.
Connecticut Black Caucus of the American Library Association. Oh, you said that already?
Oh, we got that, but
Sorry.
Loaves and Fishes.
Center for British Art.
National Council of Negro Women.
Greater New Haven African American Historical Society.
New Haven Pride Museum.
Mothers and Others for Justice.
Voter Registrar.
National Council of Negro Women.
Next Haven.
New Haven Museum.
Sankofa Learning Center.
New Haven Pride Center.
United Way Parent Leadership Institute.
New Haven Voter Registrar.
Students for Educational Justice.
Possible Futures.
And New Haven Reads is going to donate a bunch of free books so that all the kids who come can take home free books with them.
Artist Silencio.
Yeah.
And United Way Parent Leadership Institute. We said that one already?
Yeah, we got that one.
Okay, so some we said twice, but in truth, they're all equal.
Yeah.
And those are some of the groups. So when you hear those are groups that are every corner of New Haven out doing stuff every day to try to help the community. They're all converging on the Peabody for Martin Luther King Day. So how did this get started 3 decades ago? Like, how do you say, oh, Martin Luther King Day, Peabody Museum, that's a match?
I mean, that's a little bit before my time at the museum, but 3 decades ago, there was an interest in the museum having events that opened the doors much more widely to the community. You remember back then we charged an admission fee, and not everyone could pay admission.
Was Richard Berger running the joint then?
Oh,
was that before his time?
Could be. Oh, no.
He was in the 90s, yeah.
That was a while ago.
Okay.
And we wanted to have days that anyone could come. And having those days focused around some different important topics were a good way to start that. So last time I was here, we talked about Fiesta Latina. That was one of our free days. Dr. King's celebration was back in the day a collaboration with the Departmental of Environmental Justice and Energy and Protection. And
wasn't called that then, but that's
yeah.
They took out the it was DEP rather than DEEP.
Yeah, now it's DEEP. And there was this incredible group of folks from that organization and around the city who called for this event to happen, and it's just continued to evolve over the years.
Okay, so tell me about a moment that stuck out in your mind from previous year of this event.
From previous years, I think I can always picture a moment that a high school student wore his suit with the bow tie and read one of Dr. King's speeches. And his family was there and his parents were there. His mom was tearing up. Those moments are really special when young people can.
I would love to see that because, one thing that when I think of Martin Luther King Day, the thing that always blows me away is to hear his speeches on radio. I mean, his speeches, they kind of, you talk about King, you talk about the issues of civil rights. When you hear this guy who was about to be murdered, and how many people in the country, they're kind of putting their lives online now in Minneapolis, how that was going on in such a deep way after decades of organizing, and the spiritual vision and the political vision he had together when he delivered that. I could see how that'd be so meaningful, seeing a high school student in a suit delivering that.
And especially now, we need those moments. We need that vision and that focus to keep doing what we're doing.
So, any other updates about Peabody we should know about, upcoming events or?
Oh, across the rest of the year, we're going to be doing some other cool events. Lunar Fest is coming up in February. That's run by Yale China. We're helping out with that.
How do you help out with that?
Performances in the gallery, and then try to find some activities that relate to, like, there's always the year of something. This year is the year of the horse.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do some things related to that. Last year was the year of the snake. We had a live snake. In April, we're going to do some things around environmental justice. In June, we'll have a Juneteenth celebration. So throughout the year, we're just trying to pop up these things with community partners that feel interesting and fun.
In the meantime, we have the better than ever, bigger than ever Peabody Museum, the place to go on January 19th, Monday, Martin Luther King Day. You're not in school, your kid's not in school. You don't have to have kids. They're going to be all day. There's going to be zine-making conversation circles where you don't kill each other, musical performances, speeches read, and then poetry slams with all these people in the community. We said earlier in this discussion, Andrea, that we felt it fit into what Dr. King called on people to say you find life's meaning through service, and these are all groups that do service, and you go, there's part of service. Is there a broader way to look on this and how this Martin Luther King Day Peabody Museum is an appropriate way to mark Martin Luther King's life work? We talked about the specifics, reading the speeches, having thoughtful communal conversations. Is there a broader way in thinking how going to the Peabody on Martin Luther King Day will be honoring Martin Luther King's memory?
I think of one of his quotes. He said, "You need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be a servant." And just being around people who live that every day, learning from them, seeing how their work manifests, just having good vibes around people who are coming together to do interesting things at the museum or in whatever space that happens. I think that's a nice thing for us to all live by.
I agree. What a nice way to put it, and what a nice way to end it. So thank you for coming on the air today and being a real live person rather than a chatbot. Thanks for putting on Martin Luther King Day at the Peabody with real people all day. And I hope it goes great. Everybody, starting at noon. You don't need any money. Just bring yourself and your spirit to the Peabody Museum Monday, January 19th from 12 to 7. And we're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Feel to Be Free from the group CD A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.